Hi everybody, in this video, let's look at few questions on the textbook, page 166. Before I start discussing these few questions with you, let's do a quick revision on this chapter first. The way how do we solve linear inequality is almost the same like solving linear equation, but there are few cases we need to be extra careful. Okay, let's say if you have an inequality x plus 1 is less than or equal to 5. X minus 1 is greater than 6. X over 3 is greater than 2. And 3x is less than or equal to 6. How do we solve this field inequality? The way how do we solve this field inequality are the same like solving linear equation. In order to get rid of this plus 1, we will minus 1 for both sides. But sometimes we want to be fast. We know that these two will actually cancel out. We do not write this step. From here, we will just go to the next step, writing this. X is less than or equal to 5 minus 1. But actually, we are doing this. Okay? So x is less than or equal to 4. Just like linear equation, you can think this way. Positive bring to another side, it becomes negative. Okay, how about this? Same thing. We want to get rid of this minus 1. Therefore, we will plus 1 for both sides. So if you don't want to write this step, because we know that they will actually cancel out, from here we can go straight away to here. X is greater than 6 plus 1. X is greater than 7. Right? This what you do in the chapters linear equation, right? Same thing here. We want to get rid of 3, but this is divided by 3. If I want to cancel out this 3, I have to multiply both sides by 3, right? Okay, so same thing. If you don't want to write this step, you don't want to write this, from here you can go here. X is greater than 2 times 3, but actually we are doing this. So x is greater than 6. Last one. In order to get rid of this 3, we have to divide because this is multiply. So 3x divided by 3 is less than or equal to 6 divided by 3. Whatever we do for the left hand side, we do the same thing for the right hand side. But since we know that they will actually cancel up, sometimes we do not write this step. From here, we just go here. X is less than or equal to 6 divided by 3. So x is less than or equal to 2. So I think you are already very familiar with these few cases, right? Positive bring to another side become negative. Negative bring to another side become positive. Multiply, divide become multiply, and multiply it will become divide. But there are few cases you need to be extra careful in this chapter, linear inequality. Let's look at this one. For the linear equation, if we get negative x is equal to negative 5, we can just say x is equal to 5, right? But for inequality, if you do it this way, negative x is less than negative 5, and you say x is less than 5, this is not correct. This is not correct. So let me explain to you this way. If I tell you that negative 5 is, okay, let me use another number. Negative 10 is less than negative 1, correct, right? So if you say that 10 is less than 1, is this correct? No, you know this is not correct, right? How do we change the sign from negative become positive? Because we multiply both sides by negative 1, right? We are doing this. For inequality, when both sides we multiply or divide by a negative number, remember we need to flip over the inequality sign. Okay, so x is greater than 5. Be careful when you see this. Whenever you see the coefficient of x is negative, you need to tell yourself you need to be more careful. Okay, now let's look at this one. Negative 2x is equal to 4, so we know x is equal to 4 divided by 2, but actually we are doing this. Negative 2x divided by negative 2, 4 divided by negative 2. But since we know they will cancel out each other, so we just write this. So x is equal to negative 2. But when it comes to inequality, as I told just now, when you see the coefficient of x has a negative sign, you need to be extra careful. If you do it this way, this is wrong, not correct. We are actually doing this, right? As we did here. As I told just now, for inequality, when we both sides divide by a negative number or multiply by a negative number, we need to flip over the inequality sign. So become this greater than, it become less than. Okay, another situation. This one. So how do we get rid of this 3? So we can just think the negative is together with 3. In order to get rid of this negative 3, we just multiply both sides by negative 3. Sometimes we want to be fast, we do not write this step because we know this and this will actually cancel out, right? So we just say that we just write this step. X is greater than, x is equal to 5 times negative 3. So x is equal to negative 15. When it comes to inequality, you have to be more careful when you see the coefficient of x has a negative sign. If you write like this, it's not correct because both sides we multiply them by a negative number. We need to flip over the inequality sign, change the inequality sign. Less than will become greater than. Negative 15. Okay? Okay, now let's look at this. Let's say 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2, you get 2, right? So 6 divided by 3, you will get 2 as well. So 4 divided by 2 is equal to 6 divided by 3. So when we flip, when we interchange the places of numerator and denominator, it becomes like this. Okay, try to think. Is this correct? Still valid, this statement? Yes, because this is 1 over 2, this is 1 over 2, right? But when it comes to inequality, you need to be more careful when you interchange their places for the numerator and denominator. 1 over 2 is greater than 1 over 3, right? How about 2 over 1 and 3 over 1? Is the inequality sign still the same? No. We need to flip the inequality sign because 2 is less than 3, right? But 1 over 2 is greater than 1 over 3. Okay, so these are the few cases we need to be more careful when we solve linear inequality. Okay, now let's go back to this few questions that I'm going taken from your textbook. Yokeling has 4 metal ball. Each ball has the same mass. Diagram A and diagram B show the positions of the balances when Yokeling weighs 1 metal ball and 4 metal ball respectively. Yokeling friends said that the mass of 1 metal ball could be 12 gram, 13 gram, 14 gram, or 15 gram. Which of the given mass could be the mass of 1 metal ball? Okay, so now we need to form 2 inequality. We can form 2 inequality by referring to these 2 diagrams. Now you look at this diagram. Which part is actually heavier? You know this part, right? Okay, I just let the mass of metal ball be x gram. By looking at this diagram, you know that x is actually less than 10 plus 5, correct? Okay, then x is less than 15. Okay, by deferring to this diagram, we can form second inequality. you know that this is actually heavier than this side is heavier than this side, right? So we have 4 metal ball here, it will be 4x. Heavier than this side is greater than 10 plus 20 plus 5 plus 20. 4x is greater than, okay, this is 55. Okay, so here we don't have to solve it anymore, we just leave it like this. Here we need to divide both sides by 4, right? So as I told you just now, sometimes we want to be fast, we just think this way. Okay, 4 being to another side, we just this multiplied by 4, it become divide 4 or divided by 4. Okay, so this, if you press your calculator, you will get 13.75. Based on these two inequality, we know that the x is greater than 13.75 and less than 15. If you cannot see it this way, you can just simply draw a line. Then this is 13.75, this is 15. From this, we know that x is less than 15. Here, x is greater than 13.75. The common region is over here. So we know that x must be greater than 13.75 and less than 15. So we have 4 gases here, 12 gram, 13 gram, 14 gram, and 15 gram. Which of the given mass could be the mass of one metal ball? 12, no, 12 is not within this range. 13, no. And 14, yes, 14 is within this range. 15, no. So the answer will be 14 gram. Okay, now let's look at this question number 7. The youth and sport complex in a district provides badminton court facilities. The management of the complex charges an annual membership fees of 15 ringgit. Okay, let me write down this important information first. Annual membership fees 15 ringgit. So if you want to become member, you need to pay 15 ringgit. The rental rate per hour of the badminton court for a member and a non-member is shown in the table. When a person enrolls as a new member, what is the minimum number of hours for the court rentals in a year so that the total cost paid by the member would be more affordable compared to a non-member? If you are a member, you need to pay 15 ringgit first to become member. Then, because you are a member, when you rent the court, 1 hour you only need to pay 12 ringgit for member. Oh. So for member, first you need to pay 15 ringgit to become a member, and then 1 hour is 12 ringgit. For non-member, you don't have to pay the 15 ringgit for the membership, but since you are not a member, when you rent the court, 1 hour you need to pay 15 ringgit. Okay, the question is ask you that what is the minimum number of hours so that the price here you pay here is less than this, more affordable. It means that the price you pay here is actually less. The price you pay here should be less than this. Then only we can say it's more affordable. It is more worth to become a member. Let's say maybe you start to get confused a little bit. Let me explain this way. If you just want to rent for 2 hours the whole year, you just want to rent for 2 hours. Try to think, do you need to join the member? If you want to rent 2 hours to become a member, you need to pay 50 ringgit, right? for 2 hours. Okay, let me write over here. Let's say 2 hours for member, non-member. For a members, you need to pay 15 ringgit plus 15 ringgit is for the membership, right? And 2 times 2 hours, 2 times 12. You will get 74. So that means you just need to pay 74 ringgit. How about this? Non-member, you don't have to pay the membership fees, which is 50 ringgit, but 1 hour you will be charged 15 ringgit. 2 times 15, you get 30. You just need to pay 30 ringgit. So in this situation, you know that you don't have to join the member, right? Because non-member you pay less compared with the member. So the question is asking you minimum how many hours, then become a member is more worth, more affordable compared to a non-member. So you can calculate this way. How do I get all this value? This is number of hours. 1 hours member need to pay 16 ringgit, 62, non-member 15. Okay, we have counted this just now. Member 74, non-member 30. Okay. This member, how do I count all the number here? I take the number of hours. Okay, I just let it be X hours time 12 plus 50. And this non-member, you just take number of hours times 15. You will notice that if I just only want to rent for 1 hour, this is cheaper, right? 2 hours, this is cheaper. 3 hours, 45 compared with 86. Pay 45 is cheaper. So until, try to look at this table, until here, this member is cheaper than non-member. This tells us that if you just want to rent for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours until 16 hours, you actually don't have to join member. All this are less than this, right? Let me check correct or not. Yes, correct. Until here. When you want to rent for 17 hours, you will notice that non-member you will need to pay more, 255. Member only need to pay 254. So, but we don't have time to calculate every single one like this. We need to use inequality knowledge to help us to solve this question. Now, try to think. The price that need to be paid by a member will be 12x plus 50, right? The price that need to be paid by a non-member will be 15x, 15 ringgit per hours. If you want to rent for X hours, it will be 15x. This 12 ringgit per hour, therefore 12x. We plus 50 because the membership is 50 ringgit membership fees. Okay, since we want the member to be cheaper, this will be less than this. We want to calculate the minimum number of hours. Okay, so I just bring the 12x over here. Minus 12x. So here you will get 3x. So 50 divided by 3 is less than x. Oh, this is x. So just press your calculator. 50 divided by 3, you will get 16 and 2 over 3. Since we are focusing on X, so I bring the X, I change the X, interchange their places. So if you go this way, X is greater than 16 and 2 over 3, right? So X is greater than 16 and 2 over 3. But we cannot give this as our final answer. The question is asking you minimum number of hours. It need to be an whole number, 1 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, and so on. You cannot tell it, you cannot say that more than 16 and 2 over 3 hours. So the minimum number of hours will be 17, right? So you will notice that if we calculate this way, we can get the answer faster. The minimum number of hours is equal to 17 hours. X is greater than 16 and 2 over 3. So the next integer, which will be 17. Okay, this is how we use inequality to help us, inequality knowledge to help us solve this type of question. If you don't know this method, you need to calculate every single hours. 1 hours you need to pay how much for member and non-member. 2 hours, how much. It takes a very long time, right? Okay, now let's go to question number 8. The mass of a metal sphere is 15 grams and the mass of a box. So the sphere 15 grams, the box 200 grams. Chan put n metal sphere into the box, so there's only one box. If the total mass of the box and the metal spheres is more than 290 grams, form an inequality based on the situation above. One metal sphere, 15 grams. Now we have n metal sphere. It will be 15n. We don't have to write the gram. And we put inside the box, right? So the box 200 grams. There's only one box. So plus 200. This is a total mass. More than 290. Okay, this is the answer for part A. Find the smallest value of n. Okay, now we need to solve this inequality. 15n is greater than 2. Okay, let me copy the question first. Copy the inequality first. 15n plus 200 is greater than 290. So 15n is greater than 290 minus 200. 15n is greater than 90 and n is greater than 90 over 15. So it will be n is greater than 6. But you need to be more careful. N is greater than 6, not equal to 6. Right? So the smallest value of n will be 7. The smallest value of n is 7, not 6. If this is n is greater than or equal to 6, then the smallest value will be 6. But this is greater than 6. Cannot be 6, right? So the smallest value of n will be 7. Okay, now let's go to question number 9. Ubang is offered a job as a mobile phone sales agent by 2 companies. Okay, for Satya company, 50 ringgit per day, and the commission is 3% from her total sales. So for Pradana company, 35 ringgit per day, but we have a higher commission rate, 5% from her total sales. Okay, the question is asking, calculate the minimum total sale to the nearest RM. that Umang needs to obtain such that banana company is a better choice. Is a better choice means that here must earn more. Okay, so try to think how do we calculate the money earned in one day for Satya company. 50 plus, let the total sales be X. Okay, let the total sales be X. Okay, so it will be 50 plus 3% of the total sales, which is 3 over 100 times X, right? This is a wages per day, wages in one day for Satya. So how about banana company? 35 ringgit per day plus 5%. It will be 5 over 100 total sales. Okay, now since the questions want to banana company to be a better choice, so this means that this must be greater than this, right? Okay, this must be greater than this. 50 plus 3 over 100, you can just write 0.03. 35 plus 5 over 100x, you can just write 0.05. We want this to be greater than this, use this symbol. This is less than this. Okay, so just like once you can form this inequality, I think you have no problem to solve the inequality. So it's up to you, you want to bring this to here or bring it to here. So how about I try to bring this to here. But when you bring this to here, you need to be more careful. Minus 0.05x, okay? 35, bring the 50 over here, minus 50. So here you will get a negative coefficient, negative 0.02x. So this is negative 15. Okay, until this, you need to be more careful. As I told you just now, when you see the coefficient of x has a negative sign, you need to be more careful. We divide both sides by negative 0.02 so that we can get rid of this. We want to do this, right? Negative 0.02x divided by negative 0.02. And here we do the same thing, negative divided by negative 0.02. When both sides we divide by a negative number or multiply by a negative number for an inequality, we need to change the inequality sign. But sometimes in the exam we want to be fast, we do not write this. We just think this way, okay, multiply being to another side become divide. But we are actually doing this. So remember, we need to change the inequality sign. Okay, so x is greater than 15 divided by 0.02, 750. But this is not the final answer. X must be more than. You look at the sign here, it's more than, cannot equal to 750. So more than 750 ringgit. So the minimum total sale will be, we want to round off it to the nearest RM. So it will be 751 ringgit. Okay, so the minimum total sale will be 751 ringgit. Okay, now let's go to the last question. So this question we have 4 parts. I think I just discuss with you part B and C. The rest you can try yourself. Okay, for the question above, I already show you the calculation, right? But you cannot just copy without thinking. If you just copy without thinking, you actually it's not effective way. You have to understand it and try to do it yourself. Okay, now let's go to B. This and this. We have two inequality. That means that x need to satisfy this inequality. At the same time, it also need to satisfy this inequality. Let's do part B. 3x divided by 2 minus 1 is greater than 3. And 3 minus x is less than or equal to 7. Okay, 3x over 2 is greater than 3 plus 1. So 3x over 2 is greater than 4. So 3x is greater than 4 times 2. You can just write 8 is okay. So x is greater than 8 over 3. Okay, so we already solved this part. Then let's go to second part. Now you see the x here. In front of x, you have a negative sign. You need to be more careful. First, bring the 3 over here. Okay, so negative x is less than or equal to 4. Both sides will multiply by a negative 1 so that we can get rid of this negative sign. Change the inequality sign. Flip over the inequality sign. Okay, now we need to combine these two. So you can just write the answer, but if you cannot see it this way, you can draw a lump line to help you. So this is negative 4 and this is 8 over 3. X is greater than 8 over 3 and x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Now the common region is over here, right? So the final answer will be x is greater than 8 over 3. This will be the final answer. Okay, now let's try the last one, part C. 2x minus 5 over 3 is less than or equal to 3 and 5 minus x over 2 is less than or equal to 1. 2x minus 5 is less than or equal to 3 times 3, you get 9. You can just write 9, you don't have to write 3 times 3. If you want, you can write 3 times 3, but sometimes in the exam, we want to be fast, you can just write 9. Okay, 2x will be less than or equal to 9 plus 5. You get 14. And x will be less than or equal to 14 divided by 2. X is less than or equal to 7. Okay, we have solved this part. Let's go to second part. 5 minus x is less than or equal to 1 times 2, you get 2. Negative x is less than or equal to 2 minus 5. Negative x is less than or equal to negative 3. Now you see the coefficient of x has a negative sign. You need to be more careful. We multiply both sides by negative 1 so that we can get rid of this negative sign. Therefore, we need to change the inequality sign. Okay, now I'm going to combine these two inequalities together. We have 3 and we have 7. X is greater than or equal to 3. Draw a circle and remember to shade the circle. Include the 3. So x is less than or equal to 7. Draw a circle and remember to shade the circle. Include 7. X is less than or equal to 7. Now look for common region. So the final answer will be x is greater than or equal to 3 and less than or equal to 7. Okay, so this is the way how we solve linear inequality.